So today, I want to break down a few things. I want to talk about why we want to look at policy over programs, and to give a shout out to the community because they spoke truth to power this week in a way that was really awesome. Well, okay, we'll start there. So this week, the police chief in St. Louis announced a program, and the program was for police officers to give candy to children to try to improve the relationship between community and the police. And the community basically was having none of it. They were frustrated. They were clear that they wanted policy level change over some program and candy. The community understands that programs don't fix broken windows policing. Programs don't incentivize de-escalation over escalation. Programs won't stop police violence. That will require system-wide transformation, changes in policies, procedures, incentive structures, norms, a complete culture shift. So while the police might feel good about themselves giving candy to kids, and some kids might be maybe less scared of police officers, it does nothing to address the root issue, which is mistrust between the community and the police because of the history of violence and over-policing. So if you're still wondering, what's so bad about candy? You're not alone. When the chief announced that he was pulling away from the program, there's some people who were pleased that he listened to the constituents that he was trying to garner trust from. But there are others that said he caved and protesters won, and why is candy so bad? So I want to do a quick breakdown of why policies are preferred over programs and why you should too. So the Ferguson Commission, when it was done with its work, it offered the community back 189 calls to action, I think 12 of which had to do with police and law enforcement. Most of those, if not all, were about policy change, not programs. So after the commission, Forward Through Ferguson was created to carry forward those calls to action. And I worked with them and we created a grid that helped people understand the path that we have to take to get to equity. We might want to be at a place where things are equitable in our society, but we're just simply not there. So it can start with awareness. So let's take the police department. They are like, oh, I see that there's a police-community relation problem. Awareness. Or they could say, oh, I see that there's this police-community relation problem, and it probably has to do with the fact that there's a history of planting evidence, of broken windows policing, of stop and frisk, of hot spot policing, of over-policing, black and brown and poor folks. Okay, there's a diagnosis of what's going on. We've analyzed it. We understand the history. And then from that, they might say, oh, I guess that means we have to change the way that we protect and serve. And that would be a transformation mindset. So mind you, to get to changing policing, we have to understand the history, not just be aware of the problems. And that transformation could take 25 years, a generation, to see the full results. But it's essential that we have that mindset rather than get caught up in doing program after program after program, which, like I said, can leave us feeling good about ourselves, maybe even giving ourselves a pat on the back, but doesn't actually change the way that systems work. So really, I just wanted to present that to give folks a visual for why we prefer policy over programs and to help you understand why the candy program was so problematic and why I'm glad the community spoke truth to power. So if you have any examples of people speaking truth to power in your neck of the woods, let me know below. Share this video with them and see what they think about policy over programs. So let's keep the conversation going. Let me know what you think about the candy program, policy over programs, and feel free to share, like, and subscribe.